Oh, there we
Hey,
go. Found the joint. I don't know
we in
what.
here.
Oh shit!
Y'all
I'll try to
in
sing it
here.
to the countdown.
Man, I was like, hold on, what was it? I clicked it by mistake. But we in here. We in here, y'all.
All right. Welcome,
So
everybody.
welcome, welcome. I told you the topic is hoes versus women. And
Whole
I know,
versus.
yes, and the G we gonna cover male hoes too, so
Okay.
it ain't gonna be one sided. The G way is your
Ooh,
idea.
the gentleman way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's how you flip that joint. Yeah.
I can dig it. So since I know you had some heat for this, so what's going on? What
All right,
you
all
feeling on this topic?
right. This how I go right here, man. Hoes can't be the same as women. You can't put a hoe on the same level as a bitch or a woman. You hear me? It's levels to it. You feel me? Like you got a woman, then you got a bitch, and then you got a hoe. You hear me?
Okay.
And then hoe means humping on everyone. You feel me? So that's why they at the bottom of the map. You feel me?
Well, I don't know if hoes are at the bottom of the map because I see more men marrying the hoes and getting with the hoes and making the hoes seem like hoes have more fun. So they living their best life right about now. And especially with the media, how they are advertising and marketing the whole way of life. You
Mm.
got all of these hoish rappers, all the hoish singers. They can't sell no records if they ain't being hoes or acting like a hoe. And then I agree with you, Mr. G-Way, that a whore, the definition, like I looked up the definition, and it is multiple definitions, but one of them or the two main ones are promiscuous women, uh, women that let's see, whore. Okay, a prostitute, a woman who has many casual sexual encounters or relationships, or works as a prostitute. But I don't know, a man must have wrote that definition because the synonyms of a whore is a male prostitute, a rent boy, a call boy, or gigolo, and more. So men can be whores too. So they're not synonymous with women. Just women, it's not a woman is that's not the same synonym that you use, a whore or antonym, whore versus women, because they're female whores and male whores. Now I looked up the antonym of a whore. An antonym of a whore is a virgin or pure woman. Okay, but in my opinion, a virgin woman can become a whore if her man is a whore. She can be in a monogamous relationship, but if her man is a whore, then he contaminates her womb. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Mhm. So
She's going around screwing everybody. She can be monogamous and kept at home, but you or that person, not you, but the whorish man can bring home pathogens. I'm sorry, I'm in the medical field. They can make a woman unpure,
mm,
and that's my take on it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this, like from what I see, like just in the world and in society today, you see it in the media and stuff like that. I think whores are being put on a pedestal, hoes,
Yeah,
whores, as a form, like like they're to be idolized. You know what I mean?
yeah.
yeah.
Like you
That's
see,
why everybody trying to be one.
yeah, you see people with the whole background, the Cardi B's and stuff like they're interviewing with the president, or you
Hmm.
see all of the concept of these people who make whole music, Meg the Stallions or whatnot.
Hmm.
All of this is put in the public eye. and it's put on the forefront as opposed to a woman who's kind of about her business. You know, oh, let me add Brandon to this.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Well,
sorry, Brandon up in here. What's going on, Brandon?
Yeah.
Hi,
yeah.
Brian.
What up? What
See,
up?
Yo, we just getting into it, man. The topic: hoes versus women.
see,
Ha. Bet.
see,
So,
I'm just saying. See, look, this why a hoe is idolized right now, right? Because, like I said, a hoe means what? Humping on everyone, right? So these niggas over here cuffing these hoes because their pussy was the easiest to get with no problems. You gotta think about it,
Okay.
right?
All
See,
right.
yeah, see, look, so like you see Kim K, you feel me? Like Kanye West wanted the pussy, you feel me? He didn't really actually want Kim K. He wanted what he could get out of her sexually, you feel me? Once he got over that sexual, you know what I'm saying, that sexual demon that he had, shit, he see that that she wasn't even worth shit, you feel me?
yeah,
Okay. I think most men go for the exterior appearance too. So she's a very pretty lady when she, and she's high yellow or light skin or white or whatever, and it's kind of like a magnet. A lot of men want trophies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
and they look into black women or dark skinned women are kind of villainized in the media. They kind of uh, told that they're not up to the beauty standards, and even the rappers, they don't talk about dark skinned lady. They all want a red bone.
Yeah, but they women. You feel me? Like the black women were actually women. You feel me? Like some of the darker complexion girls were women. You hear me? Like light skinned females have always been kind of like a attention seeker or like an eye candy because of the complexion.
Okay.
so I ask y'all this: like, why is it? Do you think it's some sort of agenda to like infect and make this normalized? Like, you have songs by these artists now, which is pretty much telling girls that it's okay to sell themselves like prostitutes. And you see those same women, like I say, the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, interviewing with prominent figures, with a president. Cardi B being interviewed with the president.
That,
Meg Thee Stallion with politicians and stuff like this, and being told they are role models. And you see kids like this, little girls, pretty much seeing this. And when you hear someone, Meg Thee Stallion, as a little girl, is supposed to be your role model, and you look up and her music is, disgusting filth, telling you be the prostitute, or making
mm,
it okay.
My opinion about that is that number one, politicians aren't benevolent. They are, a lot of them are slime, and a lot of them are not going. They're trying to get votes, and then they do it at any cost, and that means it's taking the most popular person or somebody that
mhm.
is popular in minority communities, because maybe that's the vote they're trying to get or the situation, and affiliating and getting their support, and that increases their publicity. But I don't think 5-year-olds vote. Well, I know they don't vote, but and Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B does not. They don't make 5-year-old. They're making music for grown ups, and that's these women are popular. Hey, doing that wrong. Okay,
What's that?
Sound like a phone call.
damn it.
I actually will take a different approach on that one. I'm not going to focus so much on the politician on this part. I actually focus on the Meg Thee Stallion or the Cardi B or anything like that for being um, represented in a way that is more promiscuous than anything else. I look at it as a not a cry for help, but a cry for acceptance in a sense of this way. Um, there were I'm gonna just take Barack Obama for example, since we brought him up on that one. Obama was interviewed by hundreds of interviewers from black, white, tall, skinny, doesn't matter off that one. But the ones that stand out are the ones for popularity wise was something like any big name person, in this case would have been like Cardi B or something like that, for putting a name on something. I don't think that's making, as Rita said, making a 5 year old say, wow, somebody who's showing their ass a lot can interview somebody else that's popular. I can do that. I do think there is a disconnect in a lot of people's minds, and I just say for myself, African American minds, that there is some type of pigeonhole when it comes to African American women, that you can only do this or you can only do that, or and it's not as broad as where it needs to be. Yes, I do believe that there are a lot of women that are, don't want to just call them hoes, but are, that's what shoe fits in this case, and they want to actually explore that type of mindset or and lifestyle. But on the other side, that there are women that won't, which is the women part of that one. I just feel like there's an avenue for both of them to be in society, because
Yeah.
actually they're somewhat needed to be of each other. There are men that want to see that, and then there are men who are afraid to accept that. And it does have to break that that mindset that we have been taught for so many years. And of course, being uh, in school, saying that if a woman has anything showing, she's a hoe, instead of, and I guess to say of my day, of if a woman is dressed all the way up, she's a lady. But then reversing the roles later on in life, now that she can be dressed up and still a hoe, or she can be very promiscuous and still try to act like a lady and still have those lady qualities that other hoes don't. Well, it can be, it's a kind of a double edged sword of that logic for us, but I don't think it's as much pushing as an agenda as I would say a couple years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But
A couple of
see,
years ago,
Yeah.
you think it's gone down for the most part?
yeah.
So for the most part, so this is going to be off of a different topic that I'll push to, but it's not saying that it's went down. It just more became more socially acceptable and looked over. A couple years ago, it was looked down upon, but then the ones that were looked down on try to shine the most. So let's say at the height of Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B's career, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, these hoes are hoes." But then you started seeing more and more people get comfortable, be like, "Oh, her music is already pretty good." It went from, oh, she's just being a hoe, to, oh, okay, all right, she's doing this. And then of course they started changing image and doing things that's a little bit more quote unquote socially acceptable, as I just said, with interviewing high end people or trying to bring community inside, with like Meg Stallion doing things like with anime and a lot more of the particular things like that, making things more socially acceptable. More people just started overlooking the fact of saying, oh wow, you acted like this, to, oh, okay, you're acceptable. So nowadays, if you see something, see a behavior like that, you'd be like, oh, okay, I might not like that, but it's a lot more acceptable now. That's cool. You do you. A couple years ago, it was, oh my God, you're doing that. Oh hell no, my kids will never do that. Now it's, oh, well, I don't teach my kids that. So it
Yeah.
just became more socially acceptable later on in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Kind of like how Lil Kim and Mary J. Blige. You feel me? Like when Lil Kim came out, everybody knew she was a hoe, but she ain't last long. You feel me? 'Cause I guess like with the culture change, everything changes. Like the music changes. So I guess like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, they both hoes, and they use their pussy to get where they at. And a woman, she go work to get where she's at. You feel me? It's kind of like a man and a dope boy. You feel me? Like a man, he go work and work all them hours and whatever he need to do to get where he at. But a dope boy, he gonna take the easy route to try to get wherever he need to go. And they
hmm,
gonna have to, what I'm saying, the dope boy gonna be used along the way. So with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, I mean I said Nicki Minaj, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, that's a nigga though. But anyway, mind, yeah, they use they pussy to get where they at.
hmm. Do y'all
Is it?
feel that either the male hoe or the woman, the female hoe? Do you feel like either one of those is worse than the other?
Shit, yeah. I feel a man hoe, he's a lost soul. You feel me? That's like a lost soul. You feel me? Cause no matter what, a man should have structure. You hear me? Cause like what they say, I don't really believe in the Bible, but they said that God made a, a woman out of a man's image, or took a rib or something from him and made a woman. So if a man isn't structured enough to have control of his penis and have control of his sexual thoughts, what makes you think that he gonna have control enough to raise a family or something? He lost in the mind. You feel me?
Yeah.
Actually, I would agree with that one. I believe for a male, it is worse. But also to add on with that, as I just talked about socially acceptable, it's more socially acceptable for a man to do that than a woman to do that, which also doubles makes it worse. I believe anybody that's probably listening and anybody that's in here would also agree from us being younger men, there has been a point of our particular time where we were either forced, teased, pushed towards, or anything like that of trying to get as many women as we can get with. That
Yeah.
was socially cool at one point. It's
I
never been
think
socially cool for a woman to do that same particular thing from that one. So
I think
Yeah.
equally they're both disgusting. And the reason I say that is when you're just contaminating yourself, in my opinion. And you can say all day, oh, use protection and stuff like that. I still say when people use rubbers that you're still bodily fluids that you come in contact with, whether it not be with your genital is in your groin and stuff like that. So yeah, you are still exposing yourself to nastiness. And I just think they're both disgusting. They're both toxic to other people. Even after you deal with these people, you go on to the next one and go on to the next one and go on to the next one. And it's just
Yeah.
nasty.
A lost soul with no guidance. You feel me?
And
Just
yeah,
thinking
and as
this.
a woman, when I was in a dating game, I really didn't look at a male whore as somebody that was attractive. I just felt like he had, like you said, Mr. The G Way, there is no self control. I mean, like, you don't have control over yourself, over your thoughts. You are impulsive and you don't think critically.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's the way I looked at it. I wouldn't want nobody like that leading my household.
What about the effect to influence others though in these ways?
Shit, it's easy to. You feel me? Especially like the younger generation. You gotta think about it now. Shit, you go around see, yeah, back to a point with the women like that. See, you go around a young dude, right? He about 13 or 14, like he just starting to get into sex, right? You go around here with a girl, you know what I'm saying, who got a suit on or something, who got a business. He gonna look right past it, you know what I'm saying? He might introduce himself, hey, I'm whoop whoop whoop, but he not gonna be interested. You feel me? But you go around here with a girl who got the ass out, got titties. I'm talking about thick as hell. She a hoe. He gonna be very interested because his mind wandering already. So if you don't train his mind to accept the woman who's actually a woman, then he just gonna fall for anything. That's what the peer pressure come in to have sex with all the women. You feel me?
Okay. I
It's
think,
interesting because I've never heard the male perspective on this like that. And I have a lot of male friends, but
yeah.
this conversation never came up. I'm kind of like, when it comes to my friends, I accept them for who they are. And I've never eavesdropped in on this conversation like this. You
I can
know?
tell you exactly why.
Why? Break it
Be-
down.
because as a male, you don't want to be the outcast to break the cycle. Um, my friends actually commended me off of the decision that I made in high school that I believe I was 15 turning 16. I told my mother and father only because of the situation that one of my friends just went through when he had his kid at he was 16 at the time. Yeah, turned 17 that year, so he was 16 at the time. And I told my mother, I was like, I'm actually going to wait till after high school to have sex with anybody. That's it. Just after seeing him and the hell that he had to go through for a 16-year-old, I was like, yeah, that fear right there just made me say, nah, I don't want to do it. But then throughout high school, the people that I was around, not saying looked at me as the outcast, they more looked at me as yeah, that probably is the better example to do because they got hooked on this or they've been with this person, got unfortunate sexual transmitted diseases or some of them kids and all these other particular things that have to go through. And I'm the one that sit there like, oh, okay, I got work, so I can't do anything. And I always try to make my mind on something else besides women or besides sex or anything like that. But then hearing other people and listening to other people, a lot of my male friends, I was either forced to because this girl says she's going to leave, or it was my boys looking at her like she's just somebody that we run through, and I'm next. I got to go ahead and hit that, or just regular conversations to be at lunch tables to be like, oh, you hit that? Oh, bruh, you hit that? Oh, man. That's the number one cheerleader in the state or whatever that particular mindset is at that time. It was kind of like how you looked at it as at one point as trophies. You'd be like, oh, you hit her? I hit her. Damn, I'm going to hit her next. And
I actually had a friend that told me that he's a black guy, that told me that his issue with fellow brothers was that the conversation is always on being over sexual and having, I guess being promiscuous and stuff like that. Like the conversation doesn't get deeper than that, but having frivolous conversation about immature things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting to me because I had never heard a brother say that to me about other brothers.
Yeah, like I said, it all comes from like I said, when the boy is little. You feel me? Like if he doesn't have guidance to show him that he doesn't have to fuck every female in order to be himself, then he just gonna turn out being a hoe. Like he doesn't have any conversation but to talk about the pussy and the females.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I think for me, I was so blessed to actually have my mother and father together in the same household, married until I was well out the household. I had that guidance on both sides and got to hear both sides from that. Of course, I listened to my father because that's the male and that's the head of the house. But then I get to hear my mother and be like, oh, this is what women think about with this. I found at a very young age, there are certain things and certain qualities that you can do to increase or decrease your own sexual appetite and all these small things I started noticing a lot of my other friends didn't have. And of course, at that time, I'm young, so I correlated that to, well, you got to have your mom and dad in your house, so you have that. It was guidance, but I was close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That goes back to what you were saying, G-Way. Can a woman raise a man alone?
No.
They can. I'm gonna tell you this from experience. I can tell you this right now. You feel me? A woman can't raise a man.
No,
you hear me? Because that child is sheltered by that woman, so he hasn't had the opportunity to go out and explore until he's older. You feel me? That's how I feel about because who the hell go teach him? That's what I just feel. Who the hell go teach him?
A woman can raise a understanding, and not as when I say this word, I'm actually meaning in a positive way, emotional human being, and a male can raise a, as I said, understanding and also intelligent girl, but he can't make her a woman and she can't make him a man.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
So they can make them people and very, very successful people, but they can't make them that next step without the guidance of the other one.
Yeah, like yin and yang.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I
Okay.
fuck with that right there. I fuck with that. Two. You can't have too much of one.
Right.
It got to be
Yeah.
equal.
You have to have the balance of, like, for me personally,
Mentorship, I think. I'm not a man, so I can't really speak on that though.
Yeah, yeah. Because the woman is raising that young man from her perspective.
mhm.
She doesn't know the perspective of the man because she's not a man. But she can only teach him about what she's seen or what she's gone through, not what he has to go through.
And more or less, she's teaching him what technically not to do from her own experience of what happened and it went through a negative,
Yeah,
instead of teaching him how you can either overcome from that same situation or how you can completely avoid that situation by doing another option. But she can't because, again, she's a woman going through a woman's mindset, which, again, it's nothing wrong from that part. It's a different way of thinking. And I still believe for any human being, period, they need a male and female guidance, understanding, and viewpoints for them to make their own decisions on what they want to do for their own life.
yeah, yeah. He hit that one. He got that joint right there.
Well, I'll definitely say that influence matters, although,
Yeah, back to the hose though.
right. So, Rita, you said you feel like both male hoe and the female hoe is kind of like both
They're the
equal.
same.
They're the
I
same.
see him
Both
right there.
equally disgusting, and both are promiscuous.
Definitely. I think
When I say when people say woman, I mean you're identifying a gender, but when you say whore, you're identifying a behavior. You know, so
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
You can't compare whore and women, but you can say whore and maybe a kept
You know
person or
what?
virgin or something like that, or somebody that's in a monogamous relationship, and that's just. But I guess then that question does always loom over our heads: can you turn a whore into a housewife?
hell no. Okay.
mhm.
I'll answer that question even a little bit more differently, a little bit more in depth on this one. I believe a male, quote unquote, whore, hoe, however you want to call them, is more dangerous throughout society. I think a woman or
Mm.
female hoe is more dangerous for self.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I feel the opposite.
yeah. This I feel the side. I feel the opposite right there.
So here's what I mean from that one. As a male hoe, the objective is, of course, to just get as much as you want from that one.
Hmm.
But again, higher chances of spreading things, higher chances of manipulation, oddly enough, of more than one person, of more than one aspect. That male hoe is able, let's say it this way, that male hoe is able to get almost any type of woman of that one, from the nerd to the more promiscuous one to the introvert to the extroverts to all types of one, because there is a different stigma with a male hoe. Before you figure out he's a hoe, it was more of the quote unquote bad boy.
What?
And that's
What?
become,
I just say, man. No, I mean I get what you're saying on that, but I think a woman hoe is way worse. You feel me? Way worse. Cause you gotta think about a woman right now. She could go to the store and whatever she want to wear, she could just point out to a dude and say, "Come on, I want to fuck." I guarantee you, that dude will say, "Shit, okay." But if a dude do the same thing, a woman go look at him and say, "Hell no."
so here's why I said that it's for self worse for a woman wise. For taking that same situation, they both, of the male hoe and the female hoe, they both got their gratification, their quote unquote instant gratification. But for men, we don't use our sexual, let me say it this way, we don't use our sexual energy to actually get conflicted with it, or uh, involving our feelings, emotions, or anything like that. At one point, it's going to get more tasking on you. Let's say you're from doing this from 16 to 30. By 32, you will realize, okay, yeah, this wasn't for me. I need to start figuring out what I want to do. For a woman, promiscuous woman, from 16 to about 25. So that breakdown of 5 years of them 5 years before understanding, oh, I need to do this, what is more self, is more hurt. For a woman having sex with multiple men from that one, they would feel more hurt than a male having sex with multiple women because we just don't care. We don't, we put our brains in our dicks, but we don't put our hearts in our dicks. A lot of women put their heart, even though they don't know it, they put their heart in their sex at one point. And if another guy say, "Oh, I only use you for this," even though they understand that they're a hoe, they would be more emotionally traumatized than a male hearing that same thing. For self breakdown, it's a lot worse for a woman than it is for a male.
Well, you have to say whose fault is that the male is not.
Oh, it's still they're both false. That
right. I mean, because it's generally accepted for a man to be like, even for women. Like there are a lot of women who won't deal with men who a lot of women don't want or who has not been with a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like even women make that okay. And even amongst males, as males, I know we all been there. Like we felt the pressure of having to get, being around our peers and they telling us you won't get no bitches. You won't get no bitches.
Oh yeah.
And so
But
we kind of come up feeling that pressure.
and it's kind of weird to me because women are the main ones making these sad songs and whining about, oh, should have left your house a long time ago.
That was a good note right there.
Main ones
Yeah, it was.
about being cheated on and all this other stuff. But like you said, Courtney, some women want male whores. They choose those because they're looking for that experience and that stamina. But in the end, I mean, stupid is what stupid does, right?
I mean, that's the, you just kind of hit the nail on the head right there. A lot of women that are into promiscuous guys like that look for, oh, he understands sex because he's had it a lot, in the sense of he knows how to make women come. He knows how to make my body feel good. Opposite side, men trying to be with a woman that's been with a lot of men, we look at that as nah, I'm good. So, we'll go ahead and skip.
Or
that
it'll
one
be
right there.
strictly just for sex.
Or right,
It's
or
like,
it'd be
we're
strictly
not
was,
trying to-
I don't want to, but I might as well hit this and get this off of me. But as soon as they get that nut clarity,
Yeah,
the
like
guy knows what that is.
I
Yeah,
did
we're-
that last night. I ain't gonna lie.
When you get that nut clarity, you like, man, I did the wrong thing. I should have did that.
I gotta go. I gotta go, baby. I cannot stay tonight. I swear.
So I say,
So I got a
It's-
question.
go ahead. Go ahead. What's that question?
Hey, do y'all be feeling like y'all are younger than what y'all is?
Oh, definitely.
I am younger than what I am.
Okay, cause I keep thinking I'm 22. I'm talking like I be like it. I don't know. It just feel weird. You know what I'm saying? I just had to ask it.
Well, I say, I think the female hoe is a little bit worse, just a little bit. And it's just because of so much what women, especially in our community, can affect. And at the end of the day, men, our desires and everything that we like and that we are is driven to get women for the majority of who we are. You know what I'm saying? We get big houses, we get money, we get nice cars, all this to attract women.
Yeah.
So
True.
in a lot of instances, women control a lot. So even with their control and that power, you can really make the male hoe. The female women can make the male hoes go away to a degree.
Yes, because there's no supply if it ain't a demand.
Exactly. And it'll be hard to do that on the opposite end because women value attention. They do. Everything is driven, women are driven by the attention that they can get, the eyes on them. From everything that they do to makeup, and they compare themselves to other women when they see each other, it's like all of that. They're in competition.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get away from that for them. And especially like I say, bridging it into society today, whereas you seeing the hoes, so to speak, get the spotlight, get all this attention, it'll only make young girls seeing this and viewing stuff like that in the media as, well, that girl's getting attention and that's what she's doing, then I will.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
because, and that goes with a little slightly different conversation. That's because that's the more exciting part. Like, even though I do understand how this is going to sound because I love her as an artist, but if you had Alicia Keys interviewing Barack Obama versus Meg Thee Stallion interviewing Barack Obama, both are artists. Who's going to get more looks?
Bad to style. Cause they the
Because
mind.
she's not just
You know
because she's the new shiny object, not just because she's just a recent one, just because a lot of people are wondering, what are you going to say? How are you going to interact with this one?
Oh yeah, because I'm waiting on some idiot dialogue from her.
Right. But then what I said for Alicia Keys, people will look, oh, well, I mean, she's a little boring, so she's probably going to ask very political, correct questions. And all. But they look at Meg Thee Stallion and be like, well, what question are you going to ask the president of
Right.
the United States at that time? President of the United States.
I'm just
It's,
saying. No, I'll wait for you, Brian. What you say,
oh,
man?
no, you good. That was it.
Oh no, no, I'm reading the weed menu. Shit, I'm reading the weed menu. I'm finna get high. We finna take this conversation to Pluto. Yeah, shoot.
Yeah, that's the main reasons why from that one. It's the hoes are more exciting than the women, but people are starting to men are starting to realize even though the one is more exciting, one is also more temporary than something that's a little bit more longer lasting and quote unquote boring.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that hoe, you can't see them on. You can't raise no hoe to be no wife. You feel me? Cause either way it goes, she gonna want some other dick. She gonna want to sell some other dick. She gonna want to get that pussy up. Mine, but a woman got her mind made up. You hear me? So I'm just saying now. So if a woman come up in that joint and she tell you, you gotta wait about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get that pussy, and you horny. You gonna wait? Hell no. You gonna go find that little bit who gonna toss that little cat up and might have your ass purring for it, and you gonna go hit that. That's how I feel about it. You gonna go hit that easy thing.
Hey, G, what about the thing? It's like a running meme that women have multiple dudes for certain things in their life. This dude give them money. This dude speak on
Mine,
shit.
I
mine,
don't agree with that
This
as a
dude get them
woman
food. Yeah,
because
all that.
number one, I got to keep up with all that. I've got too much going on to be remembering different phone numbers.
They got that friend at work that
Got to
can
keep
do
up
this. They got that
with
one friend that can cook real
dating.
well.
I know. That
That tech
might
guy, the one that knows how to rotate your tires.
see, yeah,
Well,
see, look,
if
you might
she's
be right
smart,
though, Brian.
if she's smart, she gonna get the dude to know how to do all that.
I, but Brandon, you right. You might be right though. A woman hoe might hold on, yeah. No, no, hold on. A man hoe might. That's a hard. That see when y'all just said that made me think because see, look, they thinking what they did too. You feel me? Because they got the freak. She might do everything that she do with what I'm saying sexually. So they might think that they the only one hitting it, but when they find out that they ain't the only one hitting it, shit, they dick feelings go get in the way. So they might crash out. So the shit, a male hoe might be a little more dangerous, but a
And,
but a
well,
woman hoe is just more smarter.
that's the reason why I said more dangerous. One is more dangerous to the world and the sense of society, and the other one's more dangerous to self because she can put her own self-inflicted wounds worse than what a guy would do on that one. But and not trying to be funny or anything like that, but just being honest, what if you have a male hoe that has a child, he's probably gonna have another one because he's gonna do the same thing on that
Yeah.
one. You have a female hoe that has a child, less likely to do it again, but still able to do it again.
Ooh, I disagree with that.
I said still
Hey,
likely to
hey,
do it,
They are more likely. Hold
but
on.
but
They are more likely.
the reason why I said less likely to continue off that one because then they'll have another set of I hate saying it this way, another set of income from that one
That's
and
what I'm
able
about
to
to say.
manipulate that one. That
Yes.
Mm,
one, that's still off that one. That other male hoe already got three So his number is already still higher. So if you just triple that up by literal definition from you being more women than men and a lot of other things, it somewhat bears the same. That's why I say it's one's more dangerous to one and the other's more dangerous to the other, but they're both kind of not needed. That, in my opinion, kind of not needed off that way of thinking was. So that's why I say I can kind of understand both sides of
That's why I was like, I disagree with that because there's a stat, especially in the black community, that women have 2 times more kids as black men. Also,
yeah,
as you just said, when you bringing up kids, that's the incentive for money and financial gain, i.e., from the government, that men do not have access to like that as much as the women do.
and which that brings back to what I just said, more dangerous for self, because then it's higher chances of manipulation for us. I know I'm manipulating him because of this child, unfortunately, but I know I'm manipulating him for this child. Can I do it again? Maybe or maybe not. But I know I can get something out of him from this.
But
So,
I see you on that, and I agree. However, even you will still have to give it to affecting the world too on the
oh no, I
the
didn't
woman
say
side.
she's not affecting the world. She's still
No, let me
affecting the
tell you
world.
how. Let me tell you how.
She's still affecting the world definitely, and including the future.
Right, and see, as far as these, going into like single parent households and inner city areas
Yeah.
that are crime ridden, a lot of these households are led by single parent moms who more than likely they're having a gang of kids
Mhm.
to get checks, child support, Section 8, welfare, food stamps, everything they can get and benefit off of. And meanwhile, the kids are tearing shit up. They grow up to be the drug dealers on your block. They grow up to be the gang dealers, the gang bangers in your neighborhood. And that's more than likely the household that they came from.
I don't understand how that theory holds water because it's all of those kids is taxing on the woman. I mean, like she has to. They cry at night. You gotta wake up in the middle of the night, chase them all around the house. You gotta feed them. You gotta clothe them. You gotta take them to school. You gotta work, make some money. I mean, like, how do you plan on having kids just to get a check? I mean, like that. Just I've never
Right?
agreed with that theory.
To
It's
lock up a guy.
It's
right. It's strong. It's strong.
physically exhausting,
They dedicated to it.
mentally.
But that because they was led by a person who couldn't find themselves. That's what I think about it. Like some of the single parents, not down in the single parent, but some of the single parents, they haven't found themselves, so they can't raise another person. That's why I think why some of the females they be having multiple kids is because they been leading on with they pussy this whole time. So by the time they trying to settle down, they think the only way to communicate with a dude is by having sex.
Yeah.
Like sexual favors. Oh well, he likes me, so let me keep him around if I give him some pussy.
Right.
This is how I think where the multiple kids come from.
And being careless,
I
not
need a
Yeah.
new tire. Let me go hit this person up real quick because I know.
Try to get that little cat wet. Shit, I change their tire, goddamn. It depends on how they car look.
And again, y'all, this is why I say the female might be a little bit worse because, again, too, like y'all just kind of touched on, it's easier for the female hoe to get prayed than it is. A lot of times, let's be honest, men might have to do a little bit more work
well, the
to
male
sleep with a
host
chick.
can't get pregnant.
No, I know, but I'm saying like the males, they have to do a little bit more work. See, a guy meets you, he might have to do some, put on a little front, take you out, act like he interested.
Yeah, because my dad said a man gonna trick regardless.
Right. And so, like a female, women, especially if she look good, 9 times 10, she could just walk up to a dude on the street and say, you want to go?" And he gonna be like, "All right, let's go."
Hmm.
Women fuck who they want, men fuck who they can.
Okay.
Yes.
I promise. I promise you ain't lying. I done for some ugly hoes. Lord knows I done for some ugly hoes.
Why?
Lord,
Why?
why? Just
Because he was ready to get that out. Most guys
Oh,
have.
mine.
Most
Boy, I'm gonna
guys.
say.
Unfortunately, you go through your phone. Most guys in your phone can tell you a horror story that they had to drive from one city to another, or across this, or at this particular time, or had to sneak somebody in, make sure their mamas sleep upstairs. Like there are horror stories.
I had
Almost every
one.
guy can have.
I had one acquaintance that told me he was locked up, and when he was locked up, there was a she looking guy in there who was his best friend. And yes, he did do it with the guy, but he does not consider himself a homosexual.
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I just say shit. I
And that's
ain't
what I
swinging
meant,
that
like
way.
just trying to get it off. So I guess
Yeah,
I
that's what
mean,
leave
that's
it.
what
he
happened.
might not be a homosexual. He just might just be bisexual.
He didn't care.
I still think that's the same thing right there. That's the
Okay,
same thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to actually think that. I really did. I used to think gay and bisexual were damn near the same thing until, of all people, not going to name her name or anything, but until all people, one of my friends, and she's bisexual, she sat me down and actually walked me through the understanding of homosexuality and bisexuality by the actual terms of it and by the actual thinking of it, not by a
Could
lot of
you
people that
please
use
clarify,
hatred.
because I think it's the same thing.
Well,
In both,
a quick little overview from that one. If somebody that was attracted to one of the sexes decides to go to the other sex due to off of a negative experience or hatred for their exes or anything like that, that's not pure bisexuality. Bisexuality.
oh Lord,
That's somebody trying to put up more of a front more than anything else. But
So,
somebody who's actually attracted to both sexes in the same equal way, those are the actual people that say, yeah, they can say that they're bisexual.
but- so do you think a bisexual person is lost? Like because they don't really know what they want, so they just that's why I just kind
see,
of
they
figured
don't
like
care what they want. It's really,
So if they know what they want when it comes to the qualities of a person, no. If it comes to they don't know if they want a boyfriend or girlfriend, yeah, that lost as hell.
I think they just try to get the nut off. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I knew a dude in jail court. He was saying he had got locked up. Goddamn it, he had mine. I ain't gonna say what the hell he did, but goddamn,
He
he
had a
had did
charge
to
to get
do.
locked up.
Yeah, he had did to do. He was saying he just wanted to get his nut off. He said,
that's
"Mine, he
what
don't like
my
no
friend
dudes."
said.
Well,
He was
apparently Tank said
my oh Lord.
that
Oh,
was the funniest thing I've ever heard. He said that you could suck two men off and not be considered gay.
I guess he was trying. I can see. I guess he was trying it. I can't see nothing, but I guess he was trying it out and see if he liked it or not. The
Twice.
first time was good enough.
The first time was good enough to make him think, yeah, I'm gonna try it again.
No, I'm just gonna see. You know, cause I was drunk last time. I'm just gonna see how the little dick tastes this time. Maybe it's a different flavor. This what you think? It's a different flavor.
Oh man.
Now, if you do that and then you still try to hide behind the fact that no, I hit all these hoes of women, then yeah, you're a lost person. You're a lost soul. You don't understand what you particularly want yet. That's fine. You haven't went through life yet.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why you can't bump no tank. When I heard about tank, I ain't heard no goddamn song from tank. I ain't gonna lie. Last time I heard of tank, he talking about getting ate out, and I turned off the YouTube.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I was like, whoa. He was so confident in it too. I was like, boy, this nigga is crazy as hell. He butt naked on the album cover. I should have knew then, goddamn. Shit.
He ate out.
Yeah, he
Hey,
coming out.
he's talking about that was actually some one of his sexual interests that he actually likes. And then it was a whole slew of women that came out and try to use science behind it. They'd be like, well, men's G spot is actually in their ass, it's not in their dick. And be like, okay, that don't matter at all.
Yeah, I can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody know there's signs, but I ain't finna have no girl stick a finger or something, to eat, especially stick no tongue up my ass and shit. Hell
Right.
no.
That's not my sexual window right there. I'm good on that part.
I ain't gonna lie, man. We turned the whole conversation, but I ain't gonna lie.
Right. Back
I
to these
done told
hoes.
I told the bitch lick on that nipple, bitch. You know that lick on the nipple one time, goddamn. The bitch licked on the nipple. I saw rainbows and thunderbolts. You feel me? Ah, good ass. Now they want some, man. Shit, I'm finna go call the hoe right now, goddamn.
Just go on leave with. I need my nipples licked.
Right.
Man, fuck that shit. Man, lick them nipple, bitch. I don't want no head to lick that nipple on. I'm good, goddamn.
Oh man. Well, all right then.
Do you find
But
the
nah,
candidates that's willing to do? Do you have women that's like, hell no?
man, I ain't gonna count to you. All these hoes, I ain't gonna lie. It's like I said, it changes. Like back in my days, like women want these damn freaky. Like it was actually women out there. These days, it's like it ain't number hoes. Like every girl want to be a bad bitch.
Yo,
No, no,
y'all.
no, they hoes. They hoes. I know whore is like a nicer term. They hoes.
Hey,
Like
Because
they
there's
out
What's
here.
up,
no
Savage?
definition
I
for
was
what.
like, we got a question. So somebody said, okay, so what if a single mother who used to working hard to provide for her children with no government assistance of any kind fall on hard times, etc. She had to start completely overdue the change in income. Now she did qualify for government help to get on her feet and rebuild, also to take care of the necessities. What situation would that be considered? Going back on what y'all was conversing about.
Huh?
Hold on. Let me make sure I understood this correctly.
Repeat.
So they're saying that a, a woman or a promiscuous woman that went on hard times, had a child, and then rehabilitated her life back to where it needs to be,
Hmm.
and what would that be considered?
Yeah.
Living, mother.
I'm starting thinking like she got fired. She had to go sell some pussy or something.
That's
That's
just
what I'm thinking. You
right.
finna say.
That's
Number
somebody who's
one,
living a life. Like what what are they expecting? Like that's
you don't even have to sell the coochie. You can just go to the strip club and work a night or
Shit,
something like that. You ain't
I
gotta
ain't,
interfere
I
with
think
your life.
what they're hopefully this person can elaborate if I'm being incorrect or not. But I think what they're saying is what will we call somebody that was a hoe but then turned their life around? Are they
I
always
think
considered a hoe?
I think she's really trying to get on the not even just the whole topic, but just the kind of the using government assistance. So she's basically covering a woman who fell on hard times and just had to get government assistance because and she
shit.
was working and doing everything right, I guess. You know.
G- Get it while shit. She paid for it. Don't she pay tax?
So wait a minute. You're saying this lady was a hard working person, but she fell
Right.
on hard times and she had to get on welfare?
I mean any other government assistance, not welfare
Oh,
specifically.
well, like I agree with the G way. She paid into it, right? And it's only a crutch for the time being. You can use that as a stepping stone to get
Hmm.
ahead. Like right now, Governor Whitmer here is offering people that work on the front line scholarships for college.
I
You'd be
take
a
that.
fool if you don't use it.
We'll go ahead and move over there because Texas ain't working right now. They just
Now you in Texas?
yeah.
Ooh. How is it? I know it's hot.
Hot still.
Oh,
Excuse me, fellas, I am stepping away for a minute.
Okay.
she gotta go tinkle.
So I mean on that question, I mean, hey, I think as far as the whole government assistance stuff, you know, it's not. I don't think it's no crime as long as you're not so dependent on it, and you know, you
So
have people that are on generations of stuff like Section 8,
so
and
our hold on.
they have no ambition.
I want to make sure that I understood the meaning of the question was. Are they insinuating that like government assistance is wrong or something, or that's a negative outlook?
Yeah, yeah, basically like that negative image of anybody mainly mothers using government assistance to get on
Uh-huh.
their feet, and which is what I feel is supposed to be anyway. It's a method to get on your feet.
Yeah, I believe anything from government assistance is something to try to help you get on your feet. But I also don't. But well, sorry, I'm also aware enough that people use government assistance and try to make a buck off of that as well, and then
Right.
try to build their quote unquote own empire from things like that. They from selling food stamps and small things like that to doing other assistance,
Hmm.
like when it comes to child support of
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, he got a new job. I'm going to make sure that he stays on child support, increase child support, or request for an increase of child support." That part of assistance, that's what I will be more of saying. Okay, yeah, I wish that can change because I know this is not exact off topic wise, but seeing a celebrity be put on child support and then they have to pay $500,000 a month for child support logically doesn't make sense.
Right.
Mm-mm. Really don't.
Yeah, it doesn't because it don't take that much to pay for no kid.
Right.
But
And I know there's probably, especially women that will listen to this, there's probably going to be a lot of women like, you can't put a price on what I do for my child. I understand that. But you also
Shit.
shouldn't have put a price on for that other person to pay for you to raise that child either. I
yeah.
do believe there is a minimum of an understanding of how much it is to pay for a child. But there's a lot of people that don't believe there's a maximum.
Right.
Now you're getting to territory where you're like, do a 2-year old really need Gucci shoes every day?
Right.
Like now we're getting to a weird area now.
And I just say this, like, it like I just said earlier, like there are women who use the government assistance stuff as like legitimately just living off of it, and they
Yeah,
bringing up generations of other girls, who see they mama lazy, want to live off the government, then they want to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I think it can be detrimental to a community, even to where, especially if there's no father in the household, because it's not okay to be a single mother. We need to get out of that. And then if there's no father in the household, pretty much you're replacing that with the government. The government is the man in the house.
I
well,
feel
I do believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that whenever you give the government power over your livelihood,
Oh, be right back.
thing,
Mm-hmm. What happened? About the
No, no,
government.
you keep going,
Uh,
Rick.
that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, okay.
uh, shit, it's like this, man. You feel me? Like it's a lot of lazy ass hoes out here. You feel me? Like all they ever want to do, they get their checks, smoke some weed, and then they want to teach their kids. All you gotta do is just shit, apply for food stamps, apply for this. But that's the only thing they telling their kids how to get it free, but they not telling their kids to actually work and not depend on it.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not instilling a work ethic.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
become independent off of it.
yes, and then that's what raises failures right there. Then
You
then
got
look,
parents that work that don't put a work ethic into their children, and then once they pass away and leave all of their wares to their kids, then it all deteriorates because you never taught your kid how to manage money. You never taught your kid how to run their business. You never taught your kids how to uh, be uh, be productive in your communities, um, because it takes a village, you know.
oh, yeah. Yeah, see, they wasn't raised. A lot of kids have kids, but they don't raise the kids. If that makes sense, like they have kids, but they don't raise them. Like they don't teach them things, but they only just supply their needs. If that makes sense,
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's how I
that's
feel about
why I
that.
posted what's her name? Damn, I can't think of it right now. Shit. Uh, Mrs. Ali. I posted her video up because she explains it very eloquently, unlike what I'm doing right now. But she breaks it down. You're just providing for a kid. You're not nurturing the kid.
Hmm. Hmm. That's how you raise mind failures in life right there. I mean, cause yeah, like they mama. like she helped them grow up, but she didn't raise them. Or their dad helped them grow up and they just didn't raise them. Like they only did like the minimum. Just make sure that they ate and they didn't put time into their future. That's how I
And
feel
Yeah.
you
about
know when it really shows? It really shows when your kid leaves home and has to function in the real world and they function among other communities and groups of people, how unseasoned the kids are when you don't nurture them. Like they don't know much of anything but uh, the struggle. They don't know, they can't identify with various topics and
it.
socialize on a certain level, you know? It's
Yeah.
more kind of a destructive when you see these type of kids in the environment with other cultured kids. It's kind of like they have a destructive, the kid that's not well rounded, it seems to be more destructive and limited in what they can do or what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. True.
because they haven't been raised in a not only a household but a society to say this is how you can think instead of
Yeah,
what to think.
yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I've met a lot of kids, slightly off topic, but I met a lot of kids that being from the areas that I was from born and raised, where impoverished areas and their mindset is I got to get out the situation. What is the fastest way to do this? But then they might be skilled at something, but then at the household and at school and in society, it's not going to nurture that. So
Yeah,
instead of them trying to nurture that whatever ability they have or mindset or gift that they actually have from that one, they're trying to figure out what's the quickest way to get out the situation, quick buck or anything like that, and purposely put themselves in bad situations. And
Yeah.
then they don't have the guidance to either A, reverse it, or B, have that person to say, you're doing this incorrectly.
and they
Yeah.
can kind of be outcasts once they leave the home. They could kind of be outcasts because if you take a kid that's from a unfortunate household and they don't have that proper nurture, say for instance they go on a retreat or something where now they're away from their parents, they're out of the hood or wherever environment they were. Now they have to function amongst other, like I was saying, other people, other cultures and stuff. It's kind of like they're lost, and they're going to get stereotyped. Number one, they're very narrow-minded, so it's kind of like they get outcast. Like you don't know anything else other than
See
poverty.
that's why I still believe personally wholeheartedly because of my fiance when I first met her. Other than going to go see an ex out of state, never been outside of Memphis,
Mhm.
and that brought back a lot of thoughts of other kids in high school and other kids in middle school and even elementary school that have never or probably ever still to this day probably haven't even left their own particular area because they can't leave that particular mindset. Taking
Right,
So,
somebody who's from a impoverished area and saying, "Hey, we're going to go to a big name city and now at a 5-star restaurant or
right,
I'll just say a first class flight to something."
yeah,
Even though we won't see that as simple because it still costs a lot, but something as simple as that, and they looking at that like that was the best experience in the world. That's heartbreaking to see something like that. To be like, you can't even imagine
mhm,
somebody, a butler, coming to you and asking you what you want. Like you can't even fathom being happy or being different.
yeah. Well, it's like a person who on it's like a person who's on a particular level can't tell the next person about the next level. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like some of the people who never been out of Memphis, they only know how to get out of hard times, but they don't know what to do after they get out of hard times. So they fall right back in.
I think I see what
So
you're
it's,
saying with that.
And that's what the
yeah,
sad part is. You know how to get out of the hard times. You accomplished getting out of hard times, and now you're sitting there like, I don't know how to do anything else. So let me let me do exactly what I was doing, and
Yeah,
then put myself back in hard times.
yeah. I don't want to talk about any feelings, but it's kind of like a convict. Like, okay. Yeah, like they did their time in jail and like they, you know what I'm saying, like they what they call that shit rehabilitated themselves.
Rehabilitating. Yeah.
But what if they don't got no plan or anything to do, they just go fuck up again.
I have a very bad bone to pick with that, with the full justice system for that as well.
I don't even like the justice system, man. That's fucked up. I hate them.
Because if the mindset is we're going to put this person in an area where they have to think about what they did, but then limit their resources on what they can do to build from that while they're still thinking about what they did, and then just say, okay, here's your clothes, here's everything that you had when you first go to the streets, go with limited communication from the outside world anyway, you have a higher success, you have a higher rate of doing exactly what you did to get in that situation back into it. Then that becomes a little different with your drive and your mindset and blah blah blah. But for statistics wise, as a horribly, horribly bad statistic for the people who did a crime, did the time, and did another crime because they couldn't figure out to do anything else.
We
Yeah,
got somebody that said, yes, I encourage people to get out of Memphis, even to visit a place. It changes perspective and life choices.
Yeah, I coming from somebody who was born in Mississippi, raised in Mississippi and Louisiana, and was moved by Katrina, but was moved to Memphis, telling people get out of not just Memphis itself, but period, get out of the area that you're in, go somewhere else, be introduced to a different lifestyle,
yeah,
then go back and see if you actually want that, or you think you can build off that, or you just want to go back just because.
Yep. Yep.
And I
yeah,
also
yeah.
encourage parents to show their, to expose their children to different, I don't know if I would call them vectors or hobbies or something like that. Because, for instance, a child that doesn't read, parent never exposed their kids to books, and a child that's never been taught been exposed to like a telescope, or a child that's never um, been to a zoo or something. It's kind of like you don't have even the imagination to know to venture out of their situation or see yourself doing anything else, you know.
And so we could just say, going back to the earlier,
I was
hoes
just
make
about to say
terrible parents.
that. Just about to equate it back to the whole conversation.
Hoes make terrible parents. 'Cause, I'll tell y'all this. Like I had the dad coming up who was the player. You know what I'm saying? The whole player dad. You can call him the male hoe. So even growing up with that, like I accepted that. You know, as far as as I got older and kind of looking back, like that's who he was. And I accepted it. I accepted it, and I hear a lot of people who say they have that whole, the player father.
My father's still a player.
Still a player.
He's still a
And
player. He an old player. You
Yeah, I didn't have that type of father right there. I had a completely different one. Not just saying because
completely
he's
different.
not just because he's military or anything like that. My father, wow, this is weird to say. My father was other people's father's father.
Right.
My father was other people's fathers looked up to say, okay, that's mindset I like. I want to try that out. And he was a wealth of knowledge. He'll give you what he did and how he changed his mindset. He did his dirt that had nothing to do with other things, but actually had to do with his own background. But then before meeting my mother, before even getting in the military, before there was a point where he said, okay, change it and change mentality and is able to do things.
Yeah.
But then being introduced to the other side, seeing other people of their fathers looking at my father and mother, but looking at my father and be like, that's the type of person I aspire to. I'm like, wow, why are you saying that? He's like,
Uh,
well, I like to go around and fuck these hoes and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh wow, that's a different person.
I know.
as
I
a
know.
girl growing up with a father like my I can't say that he was a bad father because he was a whore. He was smart and like he served in the military too. But he did the advantage of having the father that I have is that he taught me the raw, the real. He put
Yeah.
me up on the game, and he was the funnest father. He is the funnest father. All of my friends love my father. He was there for them, He's still a player.
Yeah. I know G Way, he had that growing up too. So yeah, I mean, I've
He's
had it.
texting his hoes right now, so give him a minute.
Right. He's trying to get them nips licked.
Hit him with
Oh.
the nip lip.
Oh man. But yeah, man. Somebody said hoes are created by other hoes. Teach them to use their body and to live a life that's not ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I hate saying it this way, especially be just an American, but they found a way to make it profitable.
Yes, they did.
If I
Humans have
know how
always been
to
sex
make that
slaves.
dollar come out your bank account to my bank account just because I'm showing feet on OnlyFans or showing ass on OnlyFans or being a stripper or being any other what people would perceive as promiscuous, it's it's an industry that a lot of people make a lot of money from. So of course they're going to look at that as, yeah, I can do that.
And
Sex
yo,
is
it's like
always
other
old. It's actually win many wars, you
oh yeah.
know, and people don't women don't, I don't know if we understand our power. Maybe we're just wielding it in the wrong way.
And do you know it's like it's so easy for women to push that on other women. Like I've heard women say that women have told them how you broke or how you ain't got this and that and you got a pussy.
Oh, I saw the conversation. To
Right.
one of
You
my,
know,
I saw that breakdown right in front of me. I was like,
they'll straight up say that. If
wait, you feel that way? Well, and of course, the people that know me as being friends, I don't judge you off that. So I do have friends that are in the industry of all different types. But I did ask, I was like, that mentality, I always ask, what's your next step then? Okay, you decide to make an OnlyFans because you knew these guys just want to see you naked. That's fine. So you made your first $5,000. Are you investing that back into yourself, to your child, to what
Heck
are you
yeah, they're
doing from there?
investing it back in themselves into their lace fronts, their eyelash.
I mean, it happened before, but I do also know some people who got that type of advantage, who did that for a very small period of time. Like they said, okay, I have a nice body, I'm gonna be a stripper. They did that for like 4 months, and then they said never doing it again, and never did.
Okay.
I say that's the saddest thing. Like if you a prostitute or doing something selling your body and you ain't got nothing to show for it after you done, oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
that's some
bad.
bad business
But
there.
then I was looking at I had one of my male friends that said, why should he get into a relationship when he can go, I think it was Backpage back then. He was like, why would I get into a relationship if I can go on Backpage and get two girls for $80?
That's when the $40 was very popular at that time. Like, get a girl with $40.
I was
Wow.
like, that's the problem. The game is messed up. You cheat. You ain't making no money. How you pay your rent with $40 a pop?
Right.
You gotta
Because it's a
what's
lot of
that?
pops.
Yeah, that's
Pop.
a little pop.
Pop.
Well, y'all, what y'all think, man? Y'all want to cut it right there?
I mean, we
You can.
can. I'll end mine by saying the way that society now look at women and society now look at hoes. I always tell my friends, my personal close friends, especially
I'll
the
beat your
women, I
motherfucking
tell
ass up
them,
in there. Oh,
oh,
shit.
there he is right there.
Right.
I
Tell
tell
me you
them,
talk about some stuff.
know your
Okay.
value. If you know your value, male or female, you start understanding that. If you know your self value, not your value
Yeah.
of what the world is telling you, if you know your self value, you know how to do anything that you particularly want to do that. If you want to explore that sex life and explore, or sorry, the nightlife, I'm saying that way, or the adult life, whatever you want to call it, promiscuous way of life, whatever you want to call it. If you want to explore that and understand that, that's fine. But if you don't want to do that, you're not made to do that. just because you think you are or you're being told to. So
Well,
just know your body.
my conclusion is that no matter how bad we look at it, the whores are still winning. And as far as the cash flow is coming, we talk about that. That's
What?
where they're winning at right now. It's profitable to be a whore.
Well, I find what's some folks call what's this shit? OnlyFans already announced that they finna close down the adult section. So them hoes who mind making them videos said that little cat go back to that $40. Yeah, I got 35.
And G-Way's on the way right now, get his nipples licked. So he knows going to the bank to pull it out.
$40,
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Jazz, we hit that earlier too.
I know,
With the
but
whole
what people
influence of the
mind,
male.
see, people can't find their self worth if people already putting a price on it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Shit, some of
Which
them
that
people who
also
grew
still
up on
goes down to
like,
what we said about parents. You got to kind of get your child to feel that they're worth something else besides what anybody else would tell them that they're worth. Especially in this case, I have to really harp on it, especially the women, because they're going to go out in society and be told their worth, even though that they have their worth. And the young men don't feel like they're worthless. They feel like they're worthless, and that's just a horrible cycle to continue going through. Luckily, with this new generation, it's changing, and I'm actually kind of proud of that part.
My thing is, I wonder how profitable it can be if all of these women are doing the same thing. It's like an overabundance of the same shit. It's like, how are you competing? Like, how are
I'm
you
tired of seeing
causing?
twerking.
I don't understand.
I'm tired of seeing twerking. I'm so tired of seeing ass. I ain't gonna lie. I went over a whole house. No, boy, on my life right now. I went over a whole house last night. My mind look. So I wanted to hit that thing, but I just wasn't there mentally. You feel me? Like it was just like, cause she was just an ordinary hoe. Like I was like, damn, she ain't got nothing else to offer. Just some pussy. I mean, I
Ordinary
still
hoe.
got that little coochie. I still hit it now. You feel me? 'Cause I
I
ain't
was just
driving
about
over
to
there
say.
for nothing.
I was just about to say,
Gas
you're over
almost
there.
$4
You go
a
hit
gallon. Shit, gas
So,
almost $4 a gallon. What you talking about?
so what
So
makes an extraordinary whore?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
laying down.
I guess like Brandon, yeah, yeah. Like see, look, like y'all was saying earlier, it's all about how you raised, right? So like I was just raised really by my mama and then sometime by my uncles just to go fuck bitches. You feel? All my uncles in there, you say, man, you gotta go fuck this bitch. So really, I didn't grow up just fucking hoes. Really, that was about it. I ain't had no feelings, none of this shit. I just fuck a hoe and dip. But as I got older, I'm just like I can see a little clearer now. Like it ain't nothing to the hoes, really. All right, it's like, would you rather lease a vehicle or would you rather finance? That's how I just see it. Because when you financing something, it's yours, but you could do whatever you want to it. You know what I'm saying? You could build it up, you could tear it down, but when you leasing it, it's not yours. It's only yours temporary. That's how I feel about a hoe. Like a hoe is you only leasing that hoe because you got something that's interesting. Yeah, because look, real
For a
shit,
good time.
because you only got something that's interesting to that hoe. She ain't got nothing that's interesting to you that you can't get from a woman.
Okay.
See, that's the reason why I tell people if you really think about it, and I again, as men, we already know this anyway because again, nut clarity. But once you fuck a hoe, 30 seconds after you fuck them, so what are you thinking? If you're thinking about that person, I will call you a liar because you're probably not. But if you're thinking about that person, okay, you might want something a little bit more different with that person. You might want a relationship that has happened before. I've seen people that fuck a hoe and immediately say, I love her. So that's weird. But hey, that's logic for them. But if they're thinking of it that way, what are you expecting them to think? They're looking at you as you were just another person.
Hey, G, well, I think somebody said, careful with all that. You could one day have a daughter.
I ain't gonna lie, I be praying. I be praying I don't have one too. I be like, God damn.
And you gonna get one then as soon as you start praying against it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. You get the option.
Man, I don't know what I ain't gonna lie. I just can't do it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just not mentally prepared to have a daughter. I ain't gonna. Damn, y'all got me speaking into existence. Hell no.
Now he's thinking, hold up now. Let me make sure I double wrap up.
Yeah, but no,
You'll catch me slipping.
no, it's like this though. It's like coming from me. Cause I ain't gonna lie. When I first got my first truck and I had some speakers in that joint, I was like 19, and I had came back from Kentucky. I swear for Lord, my right hand on the Bible, I hit over 50 holes. That's something. When I first got my first truck, I'm trying to tell you. Just because I was taught to have sex with multiple women. That was it. That's how you don't learn your self-value, because somebody already depreciated the value of yourself. You feel me? That's why it's good to have a positive influence or a person who more advanced, because half of the people who going through it was only taught about the struggle. That's all they was taught about, was how to get out the struggle, and you doing this because you struggling. But they didn't really have no interest in talking to people who more advanced, who didn't never have to go through that. It's always good to have a different preference and a different mind frame.
Yeah.
But they didn't really have no interest in
So somebody got a bad echo.
Yeah, a long echo.
No.
God.
That motherfucker extra member on the podcast. Huh? Okay. I think it's you, Reed.
Let me try.
After she gone.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's Rita.
I had an echo because I actually was on Facebook, because I've never seen our live. I didn't know it was all these people commenting.
Yeah.
Damn, it's on Facebook.
Yeah, we on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
Damn, how many
What
folks
up?
on
What up, Facebook?
And it's cool because I wish I could saw it early. That way, if somebody
Let me
has
go get my
questions,
blunt. Shit.
somebody has questions, you can identify them.
Yeah.
Or address
How long y'all finna be on here?
Well, we finna cut it right now. We finna go ahead and cut it. I think that was a good show there.
I was about to say, we got more if we need.
Oh,
Right.
jeez, I showed get to the nipple licking and the ass eating. I got a question.
That's all good. But what's
I
up?
Mine was so. How many folks on Facebook?
I am.
What's
Are you asking number wise or watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got like 6, 7.
Is it gay for a nigga get his ass ate? I ain't never had my ass ate before. I ain't gonna cap to you. I ain't that damn freak. But my uncle be trying to influence me to get my ass ate. You hear me? Like
I don't think that it's gay.
hell no, that's gay as hell right there. What would you do? You gonna walk in the room with a nigga with his legs wide open trying to get ate out.
Okay.
I
had so many jokes on this. This is insane.
I don't think it's gay.
Okay, so this is coming from somebody who hasn't had that. So let me preface this real quick. Haven't went through that experience, because that's just not my cup of tea. When you say if it's gay, are you talking about the action itself, or are you talking about the actions with another man?
People talk about that action.
Yeah, I'm talking like that action.
Okay, cool. So if that's the logic that you have from there, do you think it's gay for a woman to suck on a man's titty?
Shit, hey, we all got a titty, but not all of us got an ass that need to be eaten.
The logic of it saying it's gay is the perception of you having that done to you that another man would usually do with another man.
Shit, hold on now, cuz I got a story about how the fuck I got started on this nipple shit. I can make this shit real quick.
I'm understanding.
Hold on, now. Look,
We don't want to
listen. I was on Moco Space. Look, I was on Moco Space.
Moco Space. Wow.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, look, that was before this shit got a little bit. You know what I'm saying? A little bit like Atlanta without the gay shit. So I was on Moco Space, right? It was this bitch. I ain't gonna lie. It was a bitch. She was big, but it showed like she was like zero. But look though, she was big. So long story short, I got run the weeds though. I went over there. I walked over there because she was like 15 minutes away and walking this. So I walked over there. The hoe was big. You feel me? So the hoe bought me some Dixie Queen. She gave me some head. She like, I want to try something. I said, I ain't with no gay shit. You feel me? So I don't do no ass play. She said, no. It reminds you now. I could tell like real shit. Y'all want to hear the full story? I can tell y'all the full story, every detail. But look, so I'm laying in the bed. She big as hell. You feel me? So the bed like leaning when she got on it. So she sucking the dick and shit. She said, I want to try something. I said, I ain't with no gay shit, no ass shit. She said, oh no, never that. So she got on top. She rolled me for a little bit. I'm mine. I got a story for that shit right there, that little segment. But anyway, she ride me. I'm tired and shit. This thing, you know, I feel something wet on my nipple. So I tense up. You hear me? And I just start moaning and
Oh,
I try to fight her off. I swear for Lord God, no, I try to fight her big ass off, boy. Next thing you know, nigga shot nut through the window, goddamn it, boy. Man.
so you
So
actually answered what I was going to also say as well. I was like, do you also think it's quote unquote gay for a man to moan during sex?
it depends on
Nah,
that.
that's
If
definitely
it's
not gay.
another man, yeah, it is gay. But when it's a female, no, cause y'all within the,
Oh man.
that's what I'm saying, like, cause y'all in y'all little segment, you feel me? Like y'all got a connection now. Cause I know, look, now remember that girl I told y'all I hit last night.
Don't tell me she made you
Now
moan.
my hair, yeah, that whole man, she licked on that nipple. You hear me? But look, so
Oh,
I'm
that's a
sitting
whole
there
other thing
tensed
right
up.
there.
I'm sitting there tensed up and shit, and I already had nut. You know how it is when you done nutting and shit. So I put on another condom, cause I ain't nasty. So anyway, I put on another condom and I'm trying to hit right. So I couldn't get back hard and shit. So I said, "Hey, babe, you got some toys and shit." So she like, "Yeah, I got some toys."
Oh, okay,
So
we're gonna cut it short.
no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. We ain't finna cut short right now, man. So mine. So I put mine. Look. So I used it on her, man. You feel me? Damn, I'm outside talking loud here. I used the shit on her. The bitch like, hey, your turn. Hell nah, they my goddamn time. I politely walked outside butt ass naked with my clothes in my hand. I swear for the Lord, goddamn.
Okay,
Oh shit,
okay.
that whole pet like gotta shake.
After after
On
dark. Okay.
that note,
Oh, there you go.
on that note, I do have a plug to put in too. For everybody listening and for anybody else that want a
Yes,
different
you chime
outlook
me through.
on certain things, there is a book out called The Sex Doctor. Book 1, 2, and 3 is going to be coming out by my fiance. She has a very unique way of bringing some of these conversations into that book. So,
Oh man.
All
But
right.
but to answer that overall question, it's not gay, especially if it's any action between a man and a woman. It's not gay, man. I don't know why people think it's gay.
uh,
Yes, yes,
pegging?
it's not
I
gay.
don't think it's gay. Yeah.
Peg and it's still, man. Listen,
Uh,
it's not for everybody, but it's still between a man and a woman.
oh yeah, it's still between a man and a woman, but hmm.
But all right, y'all, man. We gonna cut it right there, man.
All right.
I appreciate y'all for watching.
I appreciate y'all too. This is very good
Oh
conversation.
yeah, this is pretty
Appreciate
good,
y'all.
pretty good,
Appreciate y'all.
man.
If y'all
Next,
have a problem with anything I said, send me a message. We'll have a conversation.
I'm finna
next
show y'all
week,
the weed
y'all.
stuff, man. Damn. Hey,
You should
damn it.
also, Brandon, post your fiance's book on the chat portion of the podcast live.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We out.
All right.
Um,
Nice
Yeah.